My beloved child, you are deeply cherished, and this is why I speak directly to your heart. Take my words to heart now, for they are urgent and must be addressed without delay. In those quiet moments of doubt, when shadows stretch long and your spirit feels heavy, remember this: I have known you since before time itself. I crafted every part of you with purpose, shaping each step of your journey with infinite care. The road ahead may seem more difficult, but I share this with you not to discourage you, but because I have faith in your ability to face it. Just as a loving parent prepares their child for what lies ahead, so I am preparing you now. The obstacles in front of you may seem insurmountable, and the valleys deeper than you've ever known. But remember, it is often in the deepest of valleys that my voice speaks most clearly. In the days ahead, you will witness the world shifting beneath your feet. Foundations that once seemed unshakable will tremble, and the certainties of yesterday will give way to questions that challenge the very essence of understanding. But do not be troubled, for I remain unchanged, your eternal cornerstone in times of transformation. Look to the ancient cedars of Lebanon, tall and strong, enduring through every season, storm and sunshine. Their roots stretch deep into the earth, drawing strength from hidden waters. So too must your faith take root deeply in my eternal promises. When the winds of change rage and the storms of life roar, your roots will hold you steady, sustained by the living waters of my presence. I see your secret tears, the burdens you carry in silence. I feel the tremors of fear that pulse through your heart, every moment of uncertainty that keeps you awake in the stillness of the night. Know this: not one tear goes unnoticed, not a single sigh escapes my attention. I gather each one, precious and valuable as pearls, a testimony to your faithfulness during times of trial. The light I have placed within you will only grow brighter as the darkness deepens. Just as stars shine most brilliantly against the darkest night, so too will your faith shine for others. When shadows fall, you are my beacon, placed exactly where you are needed. The struggles you face are not punishments but preparation. Each trial strengthens your spirit, refines your purpose, and deepens your ability to carry my love to a world in desperate need of hope. In the coming times, you will see many turn away from truth, preferring comfortable illusions. The path of righteousness may feel lonely at times, and the weight of standing firm in your faith may seem overwhelming. But know this, my child: you never walk alone. My Spirit goes before you, beside you, behind you, and within you. When you feel weak, my strength will be made perfect in you. I am calling you to a higher understanding and a deeper walk with me. The comfortable, shallow patterns of faith must give way to a more intimate relationship with my Spirit. Just as gold is refined in fire, your faith too must be tested, but it will emerge stronger, purer, and more radiant. These trials are not meant to break you, but to reveal the unshakable core of who you are in me. Do not be afraid of the questions that rise within you, or the moments of doubt that cloud your perception. These are not signs of failure, but rather opportunities for growth. Bring your questions to me, wrestle with them in my presence. I'm not unsettled by your uncertainty. I embrace your sincere seeking, for in these moments our bond deepens, and your understanding expands beyond simple answers into the vastness of my wisdom. The world will offer you many false substitutes for my truth, shiny distractions, shallow comforts, and temporary fixes to eternal questions. But you, my beloved, are called to walk in a different light. The path I have laid out for you may not always be the easiest, but it leads to a life full of abundance, to joy deeper than the world can offer and cannot take away. In the days ahead, you may witness division among brothers, confusion in places of worship, and uncertainty in the hearts of many who once seemed unwavering. But remember this, I am not the author of confusion. My voice, though at times quiet, remains clear. When the world's voices grow louder, learn to distinguish mine. It is the voice that brings peace to your storms, calls you to love when hatred feels easier, and leads you to truth even when it comes at a cost. You will be tempted to rush forward in your own strength, to take matters into your hands when my timing feels slow. But remember the children of Israel in the wilderness. I led them with a cloud by day and fire by night. Sometimes they stayed in one place for days, sometimes even months. Learn from their journey. There is purpose in the waiting, strength gained in the desert, and wisdom found in times of stillness. The enemy will try to convince you that you are alone, that your struggles are unique, and that no one truly understands the depth of your pain or the weight of your calling. But I tell you now, you are part of an eternal tapestry, woven together with all my faithful ones throughout time. The prayers of saints surround you. The courage of martyrs flows through your veins. The faith of generations stands as a testimony to my faithfulness. When you feel weak, remember David facing Goliath. It was not his strength, but his faith in me that led to victory. When you feel inadequate, remember Moses. It was not his eloquence, but his obedience that parted the Red Sea. When you feel afraid, remember Esther. It was not her position, but her willingness to stand for truth that saved her people. Your weakness becomes the stage for my strength to shine the brightest. I am calling you to a new level of trust, a deeper surrender, a more complete dependence on my Spirit. The challenges ahead will require nothing less. But know this, I never call without enabling, never lead without providing, never command without empowering. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead lives within you, empowering you for every good work I have prepared for you. There will be times when you must stand alone, and your faith will be tested in moments of isolation. In these times, remember that the greatest victories of faith often come in solitary places. It was alone in prison that Joseph learned to trust my timing. It was alone in the wilderness that John the Baptist prepared the way. It was alone in exile that John received the revelation. Your moments of solitude are not abandonment but preparation for a greater purpose. The world may grow increasingly hostile toward my truth, but do not be discouraged. Instead, let it remind you of my words. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, for I have overcome the world. Your light shines brightest in the darkest places. Your love speaks loudest in the presence of hate. Your peace stands as a powerful testimony in times of chaos. I am calling you to carry my presence into an unstable world. This calling requires a strength beyond your own, a wisdom higher than human understanding, and a love deeper than natural affection. But remember, I never call you to walk in your own strength. My grace is sufficient for you, and my power is made perfect in your weakness. In the days ahead, you will experience both miraculous answers to prayer and moments of apparent silence. Learn to trust me in both. The same love that multiplied the loaves and fishes sometimes allowed my servants to experience hunger, so they could learn to feast on my word. The same power that freed Peter from prison allowed Paul to remain in chains, that through his suffering he might write letters of eternal significance. Trust that I am working in all things for your good and my glory. Keep your focus not on what is temporary but on what is eternal. The troubles of this world, though real and sometimes overwhelming, are light and momentary compared to the eternal glory being prepared for you. Let this eternal perspective shape your decisions, guide your priorities, and strengthen your resolve. When the road becomes steep, remember that the light I have placed within you is not just for your benefit. You are called to be a light in the darkness, a voice of hope in despair, and a bearer of truth in confusion. The challenges you overcome become testimonies that will strengthen others. The comfort you receive in your suffering equips you to comfort others with the same comfort I have given you. Do not be surprised when old wounds resurface, past struggles return, or familiar temptations arise. These are opportunities for deeper healing, for more complete victory, and for a stronger testimony. The enemy intends these trials for harm, but I will use them for good, transforming your greatest weaknesses into platforms for my greatest strength. The path ahead requires courage, my child, not the absence of fear, but the determination to press forward despite it. It requires faith, not perfect understanding, but absolute trust in my character and promises. It requires love, not just feelings, but a conscious decision to extend grace even when it costs everything. Know this: I am with you always, even to the end of the age. The same hands that hold the stars in place hold you. The same voice that called light into existence calls you beloved. The same love that went to the cross goes with you into every battle, every valley, and every moment of uncertainty. Hold fast to my promises. Let my word be a lamp to your feet and a light to your path. When the way seems unclear, when doubts arise, when your strength fails, return to these words. They are spirit and life, able to sustain you through the darkest times until the dawn breaks and the shadows flee. I am leading you toward eternity, toward a glory that far surpasses every trial, every tear, and every moment of struggle. Keep your eyes fixed on this eternal horizon. Let it be your compass when the road becomes unclear, your anchor in the storm, your hope when circumstances seem hopeless. Remember, my precious child, you are never alone, never forgotten, never without purpose, never beyond my reach, and never outside my love. These words I speak to you are your inheritance, your foundation, your strength for the journey ahead. Walk forward in confidence, not in your own ability, but in my unfailing love and endless grace. Though the road may be difficult, my light will never fail to guide you home. Today I speak to your heart with tender urgency, for I see the battles you face in this fast-paced world. I watch as the demands of life pull you in every direction, fragmenting your attention and draining your spirit. This is why I must remind you of something crucial to your spiritual well-being: the importance of spending time in my presence each day. 10 minutes may seem like nothing in the span of 24 hours, but when given to me with a sincere heart, those precious moments become the foundation of your spiritual strength and the source of your victory. Do not underestimate the power of these sacred minutes, for they are your lifeline in these turbulent times. I see how the enemy works tirelessly to fill every moment of your day with distractions. The constant notifications, the endless tasks, and the never-ending noise. These are not random occurrences, but deliberate strategies to keep you from my presence. The enemy knows that when a believer maintains daily communion with me, they become an unstoppable force in the spiritual realm. This is why he fights so hard to break this habit in your life. When you skip these moments of connection even for one day, you create a small crack in your spiritual armor. The enemy is patient and crafty. He doesn't need a large opening to begin his work. A missed day becomes two become a week, and slowly, without you noticing, your spiritual defenses begin to weaken. This is how footholds are established, not through dramatic falls, but through the slow erosion of holy habits. Remember, my child, I created you for relationship. Just as your body needs daily nourishment, your spirit requires regular communion with me to flourish. These 10 minutes are not merely a task to check off your list, but a sacred appointment with your Creator, a space where heaven and earth meet in your life. In these moments, I long to speak wisdom into your confusion, offer strength in your weakness, and bring hope to your despair. But I cannot force these blessings upon you. You must choose to come into my presence. The decision to set aside these moments is a declaration of trust, a sign that you value our relationship above all the demands of your day. I understand the struggle, my beloved. I see how exhaustion weighs on you and how responsibilities pile up like mountains before you. There are days when even 10 minutes feel impossible to give. But think on this, you always find time for what you truly value. You make time to eat, check your messages, or engage with social media. Are these things more vital than spending time with your God? When you consistently enter my presence, even for these brief moments, profound transformation begins. Your spiritual senses sharpen, enabling you to hear my voice clearly amidst the noise of the world. Your resistance to temptation grows, for you carry my presence with you throughout the day. Your decisions become wiser, guided by the wisdom gained in these quiet moments with me. But when you neglect this time, the enemy gains ground in subtle ways. Your spiritual discernment weakens, making it harder to distinguish truth from lies. Your emotional resilience falters, leaving you vulnerable to anxiety and fear. Your choices become influenced more by worldly wisdom than divine guidance. These are the footholds the adversary seeks, subtle, not through obvious sin but through spiritual neglect. Do not be deceived into thinking you can maintain spiritual strength without this daily connection. Even the strongest tree cannot survive without nourishment from its roots. You are no different. Your spiritual roots must draw sustenance daily from my presence to withstand life's storms. These 10 minutes can take many forms. Reading my word, sitting in quiet prayer, pouring out your heart to me, or simply being still and acknowledging that I am God. What matters is the consistency of your practice, not the format. What matters is that you come, that you create space in your day to encounter me. I know some of you feel guilty for past inconsistencies. Let me be clear. I do not speak these words to condemn, but to awaken and protect you. Every day is a fresh opportunity to establish this habit of communion. Do not let past failures prevent you from beginning anew today. My mercies are new every morning, and my grace is more than enough to help you build this daily practice. Consider setting a specific time each day for our meeting. Just as you schedule important appointments, make these minutes with me a non-negotiable part of your routine. Whether it's in the early morning before the day begins, during your lunch break, or in the quiet evening, Choose a time and guard it fiercely. The enemy will try to disrupt this commitment. Unexpected interruptions will arise, urgent tasks will demand attention, and weariness will tempt you to skip just this once. These are not random events but strategic attacks on your spiritual discipline. Recognize them and stand firm in your commitment. Remember, my beloved, I am not a harsh taskmaster demanding perfection. I am your loving Father, eagerly awaiting these moments of connection. If you miss a day, don't let shame keep you away. Come back to me right away, for my arms are always open, and my presence is always available. In these daily moments, I will prepare you for the challenges ahead. Through consistent communion with me, I will strengthen you for battles you cannot yet see, give you wisdom for decisions you haven't yet faced, and fill you with peace for storms that have not yet come. This is preventive spiritual care, fortifying you before the enemy attacks. Let these 10 minutes be your spiritual anchor, a daily reminder that you are not alone in your journey. Let them declare your dependence on me, acknowledging that apart from me, you can do nothing of eternal value. Let them be your act of spiritual warfare, actively resisting the enemy's efforts to separate you from your source of strength. As you build this practice, you will find that 10 minutes often expands naturally. Your spirit will begin to long for more time in my presence, and what started as a discipline will evolve into a true delight. This is the beautiful progression of spiritual growth, from obligation to longing, from routine to wholehearted devotion. Remember, my child, that every mighty outpouring of my Spirit throughout history was preceded by individuals who made time for me. Every revival was born in the quiet, faithful moments of communion with me. Your 10 minutes, though they may seem small, are part of a much larger spiritual movement, joining with the prayers and devotion of believers worldwide. Do not undervalue these daily moments. They are not merely about personal refreshment, they are about positioning yourself in the ongoing spiritual battle. A believer who remains connected to me consistently becomes a threat to the enemy's schemes, a light that dispels darkness, a vessel through which my power flows to affect others. So, my beloved, I urge you to establish this daily practice. Protect these minutes as you would your most cherished possession, for they are far more valuable. Let nothing take this time away from you. By guarding these moments, you protect your spiritual strength, your peace, your victory, and your purpose in me. Come to me daily, precious one. 10 minutes in my presence will change the course of your entire day. Don't allow the enemy to rob you of this vital connection. Your spiritual well-being depends on it more than you realize. With everlasting love and urgent care, your Heavenly Father,